There's a specific kind of person who vanishes. No fight, no drama, no goodbye. One day they're at the table, and the next, their chair is simply empty. And here's the strange part. It's usually the smartest person you know, the one who noticed everything, the one nobody worried about, gone without a single explanation. Psychology has a lot to say about why intelligent people suddenly disappear from everyone's life. And it isn't arrogance, it isn't even sadness. It's something far quieter than that. It's 6 quiet mechanisms running under the surface. And if you have ever been the one who disappeared, you're about to feel very, very seen. Why do smart people suddenly disappear? It starts with a battery most people don't know exists, because every brain runs on stimulation, and brains are calibrated differently. Research, going back to psychologist Eysenck, suggests more introverted, inward-focused brains sit closer to their stimulation ceiling by default, long before anyone else feels a thing. For some people, that is fuel, but for Sam, it's overdraft. And here's what that actually means in practice. Sam isn't bored of you, Sam is full. Every hour of small talk withdraws energy his brain has to pay back later. In silence. And intelligent, self-aware people figure this out earlier than everyone else. So at some point, they quietly stop fighting a math problem that never once worked in their favor. They leave the party at 9, then they skip the party, and then they're simply gone. Not because the people got worse, but because the price never dropped. So if someone sharp slowly backed out of your life, check the math before you check your ego, because it might be a battery you never saw. But energy is only the entry fee. The second reason is stranger, because it's about what intelligent people can see in a room that nobody else can. Here's some quiet people psychology nobody tells you. Psychologist Snyder called it self-monitoring, how much of your behavior is a performance tuned for the room. Most people run the social script automatically. How's work? Crazy weather? Laugh here, nod there. The whole exchange handled without anybody having to think about it. But highly observant people see the script like an actor who can suddenly see the teleprompter. And once you see it, small talk stops feeling like connection. It starts feeling like reading lines. That's why the quiet person at the table isn't lost. They're tracking everything in the room. Who's performing? Who's sincere? Who's quietly uncomfortable? Their silence isn't absence at all. It's bandwidth. Every bit of it spent reading the room properly. But here's the cost. When every gathering feels like a stage play, what looks like disappearing is really someone refusing to perform a script they can't unsee. They don't announce it. They just decline the next invitation, and the next. And the people who stay are the few they can be completely scriptless with. And once the performing finally stops, something unexpected starts happening inside all that silence, because the brain begins paying them back for it. People who like being alone aren't escaping something. They're arriving somewhere. And neuroscience has a name for what switches on when the world switches off. The default mode network, the brain system behind daydreaming, memory sorting, and connecting ideas that don't obviously belong together, and it runs best in low-input environments. Silence, walks, long showers. That's exactly why your best ideas never show up in meetings, and why solitude isn't the absence of stimulation for a thinker. It's where the real work actually happens. The book gets outlined, the problem untangles itself, the plan finally appears out of what looked like nothing. Intelligent people learn that their alone time has a yield. And once you've felt that yield, a loud Saturday night starts to look genuinely expensive. This is the part outsiders get backwards. They think whoever left the group chat is lonely, when often that person is in the most productive relationship they've ever had. With their own mind. So if that's you, stop apologizing for it. Because solitude isn't your flaw. For your kind of brain, it's the engine room. But not every exit is this peaceful. And sometimes disappearing isn't the reward at all. Sometimes it's purely a defense against something happening inside their own head. If you've ever typed, "Why do I ruin everything?" into a search bar at 2 in the morning, this part of the video is entirely for you. Smart brains replay. After every gathering, there's a highlight reel. That joke that landed wrong, that sentence that came out strange, that face somebody made. Psychologists call part of this the spotlight effect. We massively overestimate how much other people actually notice the mistakes we can't stop thinking about. Research by Gilovich found observers barely register the moments we agonize over. But a fast brain doesn't just replay the tape, it edits it and adds commentary. And here's the twist that explains the disappearing. Eventually, the smartest move the brain can find is simply to stop generating new tape at all. Fewer rooms, fewer replays. Skipping the dinner isn't rudeness at all. It's preemptive damage control against their own private highlight reel, running quietly every single night. So no, you don't ruin everything. Your reviewer is just louder than everyone else's. Nobody is replaying your moment. They're far too busy replaying their own. Replay culture has a physical bill attached to it as well, and your brain pays that bill in a currency you can genuinely feel. Ever asked, why does my brain feel so fried after being around people, even people you genuinely love? That fog is real, and it has a mechanism. Social interaction is cognitive labor. Reading faces, predicting reactions, filtering words before they leave your mouth, holding 3 separate conversations in context at once. For a brain that processes deeply, every room is a workload, and stack enough of it and you get genuine mental fatigue, the fog, the fuzz, the blankness. That why can't I think feeling isn't weakness at all, it's usage, and intelligent people tend to misread this particular signal in a genuinely dangerous way. They assume something is fundamentally wrong with them, when really their brain is simply over budget. So the disappearing act is often just load management. A canceled plan is a cooling fan kicking in. So here's the practical version. If your brain feels fried, you don't need a personality transplant. You need scheduled silence, the way athletes schedule rest days. So protect one evening the way you'd protect a meeting with someone important, because it is one. Everything so far has defended the disappearing act, but this last part is the honest bill, because solitude has fine print. TikTok autocompletes a sentence that stops people cold. People who like being alone will want someone eventually. And psychology says, mostly, yes. So here's the honest part of this video. There are 2 kinds of alone, and from the outside, they look completely identical to everybody watching. Chosen solitude restores you. You leave the room full, and the door stays open behind you, ready for whenever you decide to walk back through it. Hiding drains you. You leave the room relieved, and the door quietly locks behind you, one small click at a time until you stop noticing. The research on well-being is consistent. Humans need autonomy and connection, not crowds, not performances, just a few genuinely scriptless people you never have to perform for. The test is simple. After a month of your own company, do you return to people warmer, or does the idea of returning start to feel impossible? If it's getting harder, that isn't your personality. That's the mechanism turning on you. So keep the solitude. It's the engine room. You've earned it. But leave 2 or 3 doors unlocked, because disappearing from everyone was never the goal. Disappearing from the performance was, and there's a real difference. Know that difference, and you get both, the quiet and the people worth breaking it for. So next time someone brilliant goes quiet, don't take it personally. And if the person who disappeared is you, you now know the 6 mechanisms, and you know the one warning light that's actually worth watching.